Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Micah Parsons' serious warning to Cowboys after loss to Bills, clinching postseason berth. The Dallas Cowboys got hit with a dose of reality as they went to upstate New York to take on the Buffalo Bills in Week 15. However, instead of facing the Bills in brutal December weather conditions, they had favorable conditions at Highmark Stadium. Instead of taking advantage of the 43-degree weather, the Cowboys got overpowered 31-10, and star linebacker Micah Parsons is concerned with his team's status as the postseason beckons. The Cowboys had brought a 5-game winning streak into their road game against the Bills. However, 4 of the wins in that streak had been at home, as the Cowboys have been dominant at AT&T Stadium. Dallas has recorded a 7-0 record at home. They have not been as successful on the road. They are 3-4 away from home, and they don't play with any of the same ferocity or confidence as they do in Dallas. Even with the loss, the Cowboys have clinched a spot in the playoffs. Star linebacker Micah Parsons is very concerned with the Cowboys' ability to play effectively when traveling. We've got to get better on the road, and we've got to be road warriors throughout the playoffs now because of this. So, it doesn't matter unless we get better on the road, he said, per Michael Gelkin of Dallas Morning News. The Cowboys, 10-4, had supplanted the Philadelphia Eagles, 10-3, for the top spot in the NFC East when they defeated Philadelphia in Week 14. The loss means the Eagles have regained the top spot, and they can gain a full 1-game lead if they can beat the Seattle Seahawks on the road Monday night. The Cowboys have road games remaining against the Dolphins in Week 16 and against the Commanders in Week 18. They face the Detroit Lions at home in Week 17. The Cowboys' adventure in Buffalo went about as poorly as it could, with a 31-10 loss that probably could have been much worse. The Cowboys were out of the game, essentially, from the Bills' opening 7-minute touchdown drive onward. The only way things could have gotten worse would have been for Dallas to suffer a major health setback, and for much of the game, it appeared that might be the case with the Zack Martin injury. Martin, the 6-time All-Pro, took a nasty hit to the knee area with 2:57 to go in the first quarter. On the play, Martin was blocking Bills defensive lineman Tim Settle when defensive end Greg Rousseau came across to attempt to get to quarterback Dak Prescott. As he did, his knee collided with Martin's leg. Martin limped into the blue medical tent and didn't return to the game. At the time, certainly, it didn't look good for Martin. But there was good news. There was pain, but it was a severe thigh bruise, not a more concerning knee injury. "I feel all right," Martin said at his locker after the game. "I got hit in the quad there pretty good. Just kind of shut off, it wasn't firing for me, so, didn't go back in the game." Zack Martin injury. "Luckily my knee was stable. If, when watching the game live, you were concerned that Martin might be out for an extended period of time, you were not alone on that." Coach Mike McCarthy said he was concerned. Even Martin was pretty sure he'd done some kind of knee damage when the injury took place. "I thought maybe I did something with my knee there with the way it felt when it got hit. But we went back in there and checked it out and luckily my knee was stable, felt good," Martin said. "Kind of a fluke thing, I guess." Martin said he will focus on getting himself healthy for Week 16 once he can get back into the Cowboys' practice facility. While his injury was hardly the cause of the Cowboys' struggles, it was a step drop from an all-pro like Martin to his backup, undrafted free agent TJ Bass. "It's pretty stiff right now, so, get in there tomorrow and try to get back in the next week here," Martin said. Cowboys' road woes still puzzling like all the Cowboys, Martin was left scratching his head after the game over the team's continued struggles on the road. Dallas is 7-0 at home and now just 3-4 on the road, and even before Sunday's disaster, the Cowboys were averaging 6.1 yards per play on offense at home and 5.1 per play on the road. Dak Prescott's quarterback rating was 119.4 at home and 88.3 on the road. Week 15 did not help those numbers, as the Cowboys averaged 3.4 yards per play and Prescott had a paltry rating of 57.7. None of us thought we were gonna come in here and do that. I think, we talked about it after the game, we gotta be better on the road. We put up a ton of production at home and we've got to find a way to translate that when we hit the road, Martin said. They'll get a chance to turn that around next week when they face another tough contender, the Dolphins in Miami. Right now, we're on the road again next week, and this week, coming in and going into Miami with more of a sense of urgency, Martin said. Bills star Josh Allen sends alarming message on Cowboys after blowout. Dallas Cowboys fans will not like to hear what Buffalo Bills star quarterback Josh Allen had to say about the team's game plan. After the Bills' dominant 31-10 victory over the Cowboys, Allen admitted there was a bit of a strategy when facing the dome-reliant Cowboys. Allen pointed out that Buffalo saw opportunities in the run game. I think again, we understand what position we're in right now, and we got to win games, Allen told reporters on December 17, 2023. It doesn't matter how we get them done. And sometimes a team like that, again, they're used to playing in a dome. They throw the ball quite a bit, and I think teams try to throw on their defense quite a bit. And I don't know if anybody's attacked the run as much as we did tonight. And again, we just trusted our guys up front and trust our backs to make plays, and they did. The Bills gashed the Cowboys' defense with 266 rushing yards. Buffalo was led by James Cook, who posted 25 carries for 179 rushing yards and a touchdown. Dallas missing starting defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins proved to be costly, but it was the entire unit that struggled against Buffalo in Week 15. Cowboys news. Dallas now has 3 blowout road losses this season. The challenge for the Cowboys is not just the team's struggles on the road, but the grim reality that their postseason hopes could depend on away games. Philadelphia still controls their own destiny when it comes to winning the NFC East. If Dallas finishes second in the division, the Cowboys would likely travel to Tampa once again, facing the Buccaneers in the wild-card round. Dallas now has blowout road losses against Arizona, Buffalo, and San Francisco this season. Dak Prescott admits there is a huge difference with how the Dallas Cowboys play on the road. After the loss, the Cowboys appear to be searching for answers as to why there is such a drastic difference when the team is on the road. Dak Prescott admits there is a huge difference between how Dallas plays at home versus away games. Yeah, it's a huge difference, and really it's what this next week of preparation and honestly, these next couple of weeks are about is figuring out what that difference is and trying to close that gap, Prescott said during a December 17 post-game press conference. Obviously, we'd love to come out and start like we play at home. Produce like we do at home, but that just hadn't been the case, so we've got to find out what those answers are and try to close that gap. And we just can't be those two different of teams, you know what I mean? Prescott continued. Winning like we do at home against obviously a good team last week, Eagles, and then come out here today and just don't get anything done. All the way around, in all 3 phases. But obviously, when myself and the offense doesn't start well, doesn't help any part of that. And allows them to continue to run the ball with the lead and just makes it tough on everybody.